What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into another edition of the Hillside Club. I'm Rob Cardini, joined alongside James Martin III. The first weekend of March Madness was amazing, just as everyone expected. We've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of takes on it, but remember, no hot takes, just real ones. You know, James, the narrative after the first 2 days of March Madness was kind of, hey, it was too chalky. We didn't get enough upsets, not enough high seeds. Where are all those people at now? Because the round of 32 was spectacular. We got upsets. We got fantastic basketball. I thought there were enough good games in the round of 64, but I don't know. I thought it was a great weekend of basketball.
Yeah, this wasn't like a dead first weekend. Like everyone's like, I think we've gotten a little bit addicted to chaos in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are expecting, we had like those teams like St. Peter's or FDU, all those like Furman, those crazy upsets in the first round of 64. But God forbid we get great basketball come the round of 32 in the Sweet 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm all for a Cinderella run where a team like Fairleigh Dickinson gets in to the round of 32, but then they get blown out the next game, or like a St. Peter's. It's like, give me the best of the best. I don't know. That's how I feel. I'd rather see the best basketball being played. But like that, we're gonna see a lot more of that. Like I remember Jay Williams said it on ESPN a few weeks ago. He did it last year too, but he picked basically all 1s and 2 seeds to get to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
And his take was there's not going to be a lot of upsets and Cinderella runs anymore in NCAA tournament. So and that happens with NIL and all that, but I'm okay with it. I don't know about you, but I'd rather see we got to see St. John's, Kansas. We got to see UConn, UCLA, great game. A lot of great matchups, and that's kind of what you want to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for good basketball. I think, like you kind of said, I think we just got spoiled. There was a 3 to 4 year window where there were so many upsets that people started acting like that was a normal thing. Purdue and Virginia losing as 1 seeds, that never happened. There was a reason that was the first and second time that ever happened. The 1 seeds are supposed to dominate. The 2 seeds are supposed to get to the Sweet 16. You shouldn't have as many upsets as people suddenly want, I feel. But college basketball is also weird in the sense that you can still get a lot of good competitive games, and then those last 2 minutes get completely out of hand with how teams foul and what they do, and then who's chucking up random shots. You'll have a game that's a 4-point game for the last 10 minutes of the game, and then inside 2 minutes it goes from 4 to 13, and then the bettors are all mad because who didn't cover the spread, who did, and people it was an uncompetitive game. No, it was just that those last 2 minutes of college games get completely out of hand. And then sometimes the opposite, where even that Kansas game in their first round, it felt like it was a game that was out of reach the entire time. And then Cal Baptist ends up coming back and making a game. I think there's still a ton of competitive basketball being played. And I thought the round of 32 was absolutely insane. It kind of started off where it did feel a little chalky, and then you kind of had that Texas-Gonzaga game where you finally got that first big upset. You're like, okay, here we go. Then you had the Vandy-Nebraska game, which was one of the best games I think I watched in a long, long time. I mean, High Point, Arkansas, another fantastic game. I mean, High Point's a team that, hey, that was almost another Cinderella run. They were right in that game with Arkansas. They easily could have won that game. So I think we will still see a Cinderella from time to time. But I just think the better teams will prevail. And like you said, isn't that what people want? Don't you want the best teams end up facing off against each other? Yeah, sure. Upsets are cool. No doubt. They make the tournament fun. But then, like you said, sometimes you end up with a 13 seed playing in the Sweet 16, and then they get, the doors blown off them. But
yeah. And you talked about that the Cal Baptist comeback, right? They made it a game. Kind of saw the same thing yesterday. I'm watching the UConn game, and then you look up at the score and you see Arizona. They were up by 20 at one point, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was cut down to 8 really quickly. That's good basketball, in my opinion. It's good basketball. But after the game, the Utah State head coach Gerard Calhoun said that the price tag to go to the Sweet 16 is $10 million. Basically saying that you essentially got to have a certain amount of money in NIL to bring in the best recruits to, I guess, get to the Sweet 16. You go look at the bracket.
Fair point. I would say that's a fair point. But now let me ask you a follow up to that. We were both high on BYU. BYU paid one player AJ DeMonsa, fair, like rightfully so, $7 million to come play for him. They didn't make it out the first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
No.
So you may say the price tag is $10 million to get out of, to get to the Sweet 16. But look at BYU. They paid one guy $7 million and they got bounced. And you could say, well, they had some injuries. Yeah, but other teams deal with injuries too, and they find a way to get through it. Like that's a whole other part of this. I was talking to, a friend of ours, off the show last night about how this NIL puts a ton of pressure on programs, to win. In the past, like, you get a big recruit, but no, you got donors putting up millions of dollars for these schools to say, hey, I want you guys to go win a national title. Go win it. And then you have a guy like DeMonsa who's paid $7 million. He balled out. No, it wasn't his fault they lost, which it's a shame that BYU let him down. 35-10. He's insane. Number 1 pick. But they didn't make it past the first weekend. So you kind of think like all this money in NIL and some teams are still not making it past the first weekend. Is it worth spending that much on one guy? That's my question for you.
Yeah. I think it's worth spending on one guy because what we saw him do was like he cemented himself, I think, as the number 1 pick. But
who would
at
you
the
go?
same time,
what's your top 3 right now?
Yeah, I gotta go. DeBon's the number 1. Like he will change a team just with his athleticism alone. And then number 2, I think Darren Peterson. Yeah. I would be a little afraid though with these full body cramps. It's kind of like that Apollo Banchero stuff we saw a few years ago. And then I got Darius Acuff at number 3. Like those 3, I feel like have put them. Yeah, I feel like they put themselves above the rest of the field. I'm very sleep. Like I'm snoring on Boozer. Like I think he's a really like athletic and I don't even know. He's a great college basketball player. Like, he's everything you need, in a successful college basketball run. I just don't know how his game is going to translate for him to be like a top 5 lottery pick, right? Like he's an NBA talent, but in terms of people are like saying, oh, he can, be the number 1 guy on a team in the NBA. I don't see it, but I feel like those first 3 guys I just named, there's a little something different with them. Like, the way they demand the ball, the way they score effortlessly. I don't know.
No, I completely agree. I like that order. I think, DeMonsa is, the number 1 over Peterson just because of his size. And I think his size allows him to, to get to the hoop a little bit more effectively. And then I think Peterson goes above Acuff because, Acuff does not play defense. As great as he is on offense, he's unbelievable to watch. I love watching him in Arkansas. He does not play a lick of defense. Yeah. It's not a pretty sight. But Peterson, he'll show flashes on defense where it's like, okay, he is still a freak athlete. Yeah, he can lock somebody down, no doubt. He had a really good block.
And he's athletic.
Yesterday versus St. John's. Yeah, that block was really nice. And then I don't know. Boozer to me is like, I don't know. Maybe people disagree with this. I think of like a Janai Broom where Boozer is more athletic and can run better, but Broom had an outside shot. Boozer is so reluctant to pull from 3. Like he will if he's wide open. Like Broom was pulling up even if there was a guy in his face at times because he was that confident in his 3-point shot, where Boozer is not like that. Yeah. And I feel like Broom had more of a bag, if you will, but Boozer's a little more athletic. So, and Janai Broom is, I really don't know where he ended up. Did he get drafted? I don't know.
Playing,
I think it's more so the fact that we don't know where he is right now is kind of the point I'm trying to make, that like, if that guy didn't translate to the league, is Boozer really going to? Hey, maybe he will. Maybe he gets the NBA and he develops, a little bit more of a bag. You got to wish the best for these guys. No one's rooting against them, but
no, not at all.
I agree with the list that you put together.
I think Broom is a 2-way player for the Sixers, but he averages like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, something crazy like that. But
yeah.
But I want to go back to what you said about like, is it worth paying for a player like that? It made me think of what Luke Combs said a few weeks ago. You know how he's an alumni of App State.
Oh yeah,
right. And like they were asking him like, would you donate to the school's NIL collective? And he basically is refusing because he thinks there's, first of all, it's a little broken system right now, a little unsustainable, and he wanted contract stability. Like that's the number 1 thing he mentioned. And I understand it. Because like if you're going to put your money towards something and you don't know what you're going to get out of it on the back end, what's the point? Like, what's the point? Like for BYU and for giving up $7 million to Bonsta, he's gone after this year, and you didn't get anything out of it. They finished 8th in the Big 12, and then they also lose in the round of 64. And I know they lost Richie Saunders, who was their second leading scorer, but
it's not a good enough reason.
Yeah, like you put $7 million towards a player. I feel like the team, I don't even know. I don't know. I just don't know what they got out of it this year. I guess, yes, they made a lot of money from just the engagement from their fans.
Got another huge prospect coming in now.
Yeah.
I think they got, the number 1 recruit again?
Yeah, I
or
did
one
see
of them,
that.
top 3 at least, I'm pretty sure. So, but no, to go back to your Luke Combs point, I think he meant more about football, though, because in basketball, there are one and dones, where in football, you don't see that. Like, a guy has to wait. So I think, him saying that he wants a contract in the sense of, like, if a guy's going to get the NIL deal, he has to play there for 2 years. In football, I think that's completely valid. Basketball is a little bit different because you have these talents, these freshmen come in where after 1 year, they're good enough to go to the league. Where, I mean, maybe there's a couple guys like that in college football where, they're a freshman, they could probably go to the NFL. I still think that's too big of a jump. And then he also brought up the idea, we could talk about this, another episode, but I'll just quickly reference what he said about how they should make another college football playoff for all the mid-major levels and all the teams below. Yeah. So he was like, 100%. he was spitting some facts, but back to March Madness, I don't know. There's just so many. Vandy, Nebraska, I still can't get over that game. The fact that 3 half-court shot almost went in to win it for Vanderbilt. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a fantastic weekend of basketball. And one of my takeaways was that the Duke whistle is a real thing, man. I was not impressed with Duke one bit in either game. And I know the final scores of both those games, it felt like Duke kind of ended up, taking care of business. And I wouldn't say that. They squeezed by both their opponents. And through 2 games, they have 44 free throws. Their opponents have 13 combined. And, you could say play style and size of teams plays into that because, Boozer's a bigger guy, so maybe they were fouling him more. But there were moments where it's like, okay, Duke's down in the second half, and then all of a sudden the whistle started going crazy. Like when TCU tied the game in the second half, there were, I think, 5 straight possessions where Duke was shooting free. Or there was a whistle when Duke had the ball. So that Duke whistle is a real thing, man. I don't know. They might be in trouble versus St. John's. I don't know. I think St. John's can, match their physicality and it'll get real interesting.
If St. John's gets another game out of Bryce Hopkins the way they did yesterday, I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Well, he hit career high
3 threes to start the game. I was like,
I think he had 5 or 6 total for the game.
No, that was. But this is what St. John's does. They may not be elite on the offensive side of the ball.
It's crazy.
But they will disrupt your game plan, and now you have to match their physicality. That term, where you got to come out there and hit them right in the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hit them right in the jaw. And that's what St. John's does. And I can only imagine what a practice is like with Rick Pitino. But, he's clearly got the ear of that team. So I'm really, that's, I think, the biggest game of the week for me is St. John's Duke. I think St. John's pulls it out. But then again, you never know.
The momentum, I think, no doubt, St. John's looks like the better team right now because even when they don't shoot well, which they really never do, it seems, they just win games regardless. Where other teams, if they have a bad shooting night, it's really tough for them to pull it out. I don't know. I mean, St. John's, never mind disrupt your game plan. They don't even let you inbound the ball. I don't get it. I was watching the Kansas game. Can we just get the ball in? I don't know why teams struggle inbounding the ball as much as they do. It doesn't make sense to me because they practice it so much in preparation. Mm-hmm. But I saw a stat right before we started recording that Duke has never won a national title without beating St. John's at some point during that season. All 5 times they've won a natty, they have beat St. John's at some point, either during the regular season or during their March Madness run. So, some people hate stats like that. Some people buy into it. I don't think there's necessarily a causation, but I think there could be, maybe there's a correlation there.
Yeah. First of all, Duke, them just getting by Siena was crazy because Siena, they didn't make one substitution in the whole game, which was just insane to me. And I'm pretty sure their coach just got hired by Syracuse, which is pretty awesome. But that whistle, the free throw discrepancy down the stretch of that game, like you just cannot. Like I don't what do the refs or what does Duke have over referees in some of these situations? Like I feel like this has been a thing dating back for like 20 or 30 years. Like I don't know. I don't get it, but hey, I can't wait to see that game. But I want to bring up this stat about the Cinderellas. Go back to that really quickly. Since the NCAA tournament went to 64 teams in 1985, it's only been 7 times where a 13, a 14, and a 15 seed have not won a game. And it's now happened back-to-back 2 times for the first time. I hate to break it to everyone, but I think the era of the Cinderella is dead. And I'm okay with it. I don't know about everyone else. I'm okay with it because we got to see the matchups that we did in the second round that we just did over the weekend. And it was great. However, you miss out on stories like Sister Jean, or you miss out on just amazing runs. I remember CJ McCollum, like just, we would have never seen a Davidson and Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry would have probably transferred, stuff like that. So I don't know. People have a lot of negative things to say about the tournament and NIL, but I think this is great for the sport. And this is kind of like the same thing you said with, college football should go to, having 2 different championships, which I understand. Like
I don't like that for basketball, though.
No. I understand that. I think you keep the tournament the way it is. You never change that. This is I probably think the greatest sporting event outside of the World Cup in the world. So, but yeah, I hate to break it to you. Cinderella era is over. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I still think there could be some. I think like there's going to be a year where like it not balances back out, but like I think there were still competitive games. Like Furman was in it versus UConn. UConn shot horribly, and Furman, had a chance to win that game. Again, Cal Baptist came back in that game. Siena was beating Duke. Was not just beating Duke. They were up 10 at one point versus Duke, a number 1 seed.
Yeah.
What was it? Howard that played Michigan right in the first round.
Yeah,
Howard was in it at half for a little while.
But that's the thing. We will see competitive games, especially because of the nature of the tournament. Like we'll see, we'll see upsets, but we won't see a Cinderella run. Like watching these teams make it to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, the Final Four. Like that's incredible. Like we're not going to see that anymore. But I don't know, the Sister Jean and watching Loyola Chicago go to the Final Four was one of the most insane things I think I've ever seen. And the way they went about it, all the buzzer beaters and all the late game moments that they had, the heroics, it was just that's something you can never I guess mimic again, or we'll never see that again. But hey, man, we're gonna see a lot more better matchups. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't get those high seeded, or I guess they're technically low, however you want to describe it. But, those big, number seeds just making an upset. But then we still got upsets. And probably the biggest one of the weekend, Iowa, Florida. I'm in genuine shock, not just about this game, Big Ten as a whole. We're going to get into that, very shortly when we look ahead to the Sweet 16 and the matchups. But I cannot believe that Iowa beat Florida. I really can't. I mean, John Fanta couldn't believe it. I mean, he said, if you think that Florida's got a chance to lose to Iowa, he said, child, please, he told the guy on Barstool. I mean, I can't. I knew that Iowa slows teams down and they use that very slow pace to their advantage. But the way Florida lost, those last 2 possessions were an absolute disaster for Florida. I have no idea why they pressed so heavy on the final inbound play for Iowa. I understand wanting to show pressure and not just allowing the guy a free path, to get up the court. But to have a guy on the inbounder, to have 2 guys back there with basically a full court press, and it was actually Van Gundy who said it on the St. John's, Kansas broadcast, that when they talked to Bill Self, he told his team, every press is a fast break. And that's exactly how Iowa treated it. Mm-hmm. They beat the press. It became a fast break. Sure enough, it's a 3v2 on the other end of the court. You got a wide open guy in the corner for 3, and that's the one way you lose the game. I don't get it. I don't know why that's what Todd Golden decided to do. Then offensively, I still don't really know the whole game plan on that last offensive possession, but you got to drive to the basket. I don't know why he tried to pass. I feel like at that point, you at least have to go up for some contact and hope you end up shooting 2 free throws if you don't make the shot. But to not get a shot off on the final, possession of the game is disgusting.
First of all, did you see what Todd Golden had said after the game? I don't know how people feel about this, but their plan coming out of that break was to press and foul immediately, right? Like press and foul immediately so that they can, I guess, challenge Iowa to hit 2 free throws, and then they get the ball back, and I guess they get the ball back with 5 seconds and have a chance to win the game. I don't understand. I hate that idea.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not a big fan.
I don't like that. Like, just guard up, play defense. But the way they came down the floor and the defensive effort, as a coach, you got to wonder what on earth is going on. But he put them out there in that situation. So I don't even, as a Florida fan watching that, oh my gosh, I'd be sick to my stomach if I watched my team go out there and defend like that on the most important play of the game. And then Xavier Lee on the next possession, when they have, it was 4 seconds, they come down the floor. He dribbled the ball at least 3 times down the length of the court, right? And then proceeded to think that he had enough time to pass the ball. Again, I hope that was not the plan.
There had to have been, I don't know, there had to have been something. I don't know. It felt like there was, that could not have been the plan in place for him to just get to the hoop and, get there. Also, they had 2 guys right in the paint clogging it up. So maybe the goal was to get, drive to the hoop and hopefully have one guy, wide open underneath, because all the attention is obviously going to go to him driving. But they had 2 guys standing right by the basket clogging it up. So I don't know what the game plan was. To me, I would have, I don't know. I would have done something different than that. But I feel like if you know that you have that internal clock of like 4 seconds, I feel like at the very least, you got to just try to draw contact at the rim. But now, since 2007, only one defending champ has made it past the Sweet 16, and that was UConn when they won back-to-back titles. Yeah. So, I mean, as much of an upset as it is for Florida, I think it just goes to show you how hard it is for the defending champ to actually go far in next year's tournament. Yeah, no, they also that's a crazy stat. Yeah.
They also didn't have Walter Clayton Jr. to do all the heroics that he pulled last year. I mean, the shots he was hitting in the clutch last year were ridiculous.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I wanted to bring up one thing. How about Iowa's athletic department and picking up a new coach in Ben McCollum? Like, I obviously they parted ways with Fran McCaffrey. Like it was the time. It felt like Iowa, like I guess they were just not the same they were before when they had Fran McCaffrey early on. But you go and get Ben McCollum, who actually won 2 national championships at the Division II level at Northwest Missouri State, and then he was at Drake the year before. But to pick him up, and then now you find yourself in the Sweet 16, no one was expecting this, right? So shout out the Iowa athletic department, and that's just an amazing hire from them. If as an Iowa basketball fan, like you would have to be very elated with the future of that program. But yeah, man, down the stretch of that game, I didn't understand. I mean, Florida kind of got off to the wrong foot in that game to begin with, but I don't know.
Yeah, terrible start. And then, but I feel like somebody called this though. Did they not? Hold on, wait.
The Florida Gators are not winning the national title.
Hold on, wait. Let me hear that.
The Florida Gators are not winning the national title.
Where's one more time in case you guys aren't hearing?
The Florida Gators are not winning the national title.
Oh, wait. Yep. That was on March 1st.
I didn't read some of those comments too.
People was like, don't worry. Yeah, everybody had to let me know. Let's see. Stay tuned, Big Mouth. You're reaching. Yes, we are. If you're not a Gator, you're a hater. They hated my stat about the Week 6 AP poll. Told you guys, there's a reason that it's happened every year for the past 20 years. There's a reason. That's not a coincidence anymore. So, I got called a bozo for it, but
bro, read those comments. I was like, oh wow. Gator Faithful came out.
And again, they're a good team, but it's really hard to go back to back. And once I saw that stat, I was like, you know what? They're not winning at all. And sure enough, a team slowed them down. They didn't shoot as well as they really needed to. And there you go. An upset happened. But
Yeah.
the Big Ten doing their thing. If you look at the Sweet 16, teams from the conferences remaining, the Big Ten has 6 leading the way. The SEC has 4. Big 12 has 3. Big East 2. And the ACC with 1.
ACC.
I was going to say,
please, I'm done with
ACC
it.
is disgusting.
I'm
They got
tired.
8 bids and they only have 1 team in the
Tired.
Sweet 16. The Big East only had 3 bids. They got 2 of their teams to the Sweet 16. I think, honestly, James, I think we owe the Big Ten an apology because
I don't. Nah, I'm not.
you're going to wait till the Final Four?
I don't think a single Big Ten team is going to win it all.
I feel like if you look at our brackets, though, I feel like we kind of disrespected them with a lot of the picks. Like, we both had Clemson beating Iowa. I had Ohio State beating TCU. Wait, no, you took TCU, which I guess you got right. There's another. Why am I blanking on the other one? There was one more that we both kind of discredited. I forget where it went, but just I feel like the Big Ten as a whole, we kind of disrespected, but they're doing their thing. They're playing some good basketball compared to these. Oh, Nebraska, that was a team.
Yeah.
We didn't think that they would be. We had Vandy beating them. I mean,
You spoke. We kind of talked about this before. They played in Oklahoma, which is around the corner from Lincoln, or Oklahoma City, and it was a home game for them. That stuff matters. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, because of the atmosphere they won. No, that's a great team. I will never say that.
Yeah, no, it definitely matters.
That was a home game. And in college sports, we talk about this all the time. Atmosphere matters more than anything.
Yeah.
I feel like college athletes feed off of energy more than you see in the NBA or the NFL or in pro sports like that. They feed off the energy.
They looked
play
comfortable.
Like exactly.
They looked comfortable.
Yeah.
I would say out of all the teams that have played so far this tournament, Nebraska looks like they're shooting the ball the best. Maybe Iowa State, although that first half versus Kentucky, they struggled a little bit. But Nebraska, like that was my main takeaway from like the round of 64 was like, if any team shot the ball well, that new ball, not new, but new for the tournament, it was Nebraska. They shot lights out. They did it again versus Vanderbilt. They made some big shots down the stretch, got away with a double dribble, but nonetheless won the game. Yeah, Nebraska, they're locked in. Big Ten's doing their thing. We'll see what happens this round. Obviously, you got some big-time matchups. The ACC is a joke. I mean, there's just this is a bad look for the ACC. I mean, even on a down year, the Big East still got more teams in it. Now, maybe it'd be a different story if Caleb Wilson doesn't get hurt from North Carolina, which North Carolina blowing the 19-point lead. I think they got to fire Hubert Davis. I think he's got to go.
Yeah, I didn't. It's tough because you lose your best player.
It's not tough.
It's not
tough.
Like
you're the higher seed. I mean, it's not even just this one game. He blew the 15-point lead in the national championship. Every other year he's gotten bounced early, and then he blows a 19-point lead as a 16 facing VCU, which VCU, credit to them, they played outstanding down the stretch. But I think you got to fire a guy after that. I don't know. How does he rally a program after all these losses?
Not to mention it's UNC. He has access to the best recruits in the nation.
Yeah.
He can go and get anybody he wants. So it's like, it's not that like, all right, they're failing every year, but they're failing with talent. As a fan, like that would piss me off. Like knowing that we got this good of a team or knowing that we have, all this talent on our roster and the ability to recruit whoever we want, and we still can't figure out, like losing like the way they did in that fashion is really disheartening for a Tar Heel fan. So I think they'd have to move on, but I don't know who's the guy. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people are saying they want to. I saw a lot of comments about trying to get Nate Oates to move from Alabama and to go to UNC, which I think. I mean, listen, just like you said, any player they can probably get.
Why would he leave?
Well, it's a better job.
Money-wise, I can understand.
What do you mean money-wise? Program-wise, you go from Alabama to UNC. Any UNC is basically an upgrade to, I would say, other than maybe 5 other programs in the country.
Why? Are we saying because of their facilities or because?
No, I'm just saying that
they have an insane. Like Bama has one of the most diehard fan bases. They got a lot of money.
UNC's still in that SEC, blue blood talk. Maybe they should.
Who cares? That's the past. The SEC.
Okay, it's the past. But
the SEC.
It's North Carolina basketball.
But they're no longer North Carolina basketball. You know how we talked about Bama.
But that's the coach. You need a new coach to bring it back. That's the whole point.
Why would he leave? He's in the Sweet 16. Where's UNC? Unless they get him, they pay him way more money than he's going to get at Bama. Why would you leave? Bama's been in the Final Four. Like,
I'm just saying that's the name I saw floated because he's a good coach. You wanted to get him to like a premier top tier program. I understand it.
If I'm a coach right now, coaching in a Power 4 or Power 5 conference, I'm not leaving the school I'm at to go coach in the ACC. I'm sorry. If it's not Duke, and Duke is Duke, and they will always be Duke. And UNC, they're kind of falling off of where they were because of this Hubert Davis tenure. But if it's not Duke, I'm out on that. Like the ACC, you get all this hype all year about, big game in the ACC on ESPN, and you're like, okay, let's go watch it. You go watch the game, Duke's blowing out Virginia by 20 or 30. It's like, it's not even, I don't think it's smart. SEC, Big 12 basketball have been way better in these last 5 years, and it's not even a debate. And then the Big 10, there's a lot of competitive balance. Like I feel like throughout the field, there's a lot of just solid teams. More than you see in the ACC. So again, why would you leave unless
also,
the money
I was gonna say the Big Ten now. Those schools, I feel like they have a little bit more money, and the NIL fund's a little bit bigger, and those teams are gonna be more competitive come tournament time. Speaking coaches, though, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I had written it down before the game of like, regardless who won the game, who would you say is the better coach, Bill Self or Rick Pitino?
Oof.
It's such a tough
question. I don't want to
question.
upset people. I don't even know. Jesus, it's a tough one. They both won 2 national titles, right?
Mm-hmm. Self's got 2 at Kansas. Pitino has 2.
Okay, so if we're gonna talk pure resume, I think Bill Self has the upper hand. He's got the machine, right?
Yeah.
I think if we're talking aura, give me Rick Pitino. You go to a St. John's game, they come out, they're playing a little Jay-Z, a little Cameron. Welcome to New York City. He's walking out in a white suit. Come on.
So basically
what legends are
what
made
you're
of.
saying is if you needed one coach to win you a game, you would take Pitino over Self?
Yeah.
That's how you're putting it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, give me Pitino.
Okay.
And this is not recency bias. This is not because of what just happened yesterday. Pitino's been through a lot. In his coaching career. But one thing that stayed true is he's always had the respect of his players, and the way they speak about him it is ridiculous. That's what I think I look at the most. So you look at how players talk about their coach and how they respect. You look at the Donovan Mitchell thing. Pitino was talking about, he went to Louisville and his jumper was essentially broken.
Yeah.
Pitino rehabbed it and fixed it out, and now look, Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I feel like Bill Self has had it pretty comfortable at Kansas. He's had the best recruits time and time again.
He had that scandal. They just didn't get sanctioned for it, which is that's why a lot of people. Pitino got sanctioned. Technically only has 1 national title. The Louisville one got stripped, but he kind of had to deal with that. But
but he just
took. I think it was
St. John's
legendary coaches.
Yeah, he just took St. John's to their first Sweet 16 since 1999, right?
Mm-hmm.
His first, I think, since 2015. St. John's now has 2 back-to-back 30-win seasons, and he had to start from scratch again at St. John's. I think just being able to see these peaks and valleys in a coach, I got to give it to Pitino.
Yeah, fair enough.
Again, it's a hard debate. I don't want to really just pick one over the other, but if I had to go with a coach, if I wanted a coach, right, let's say this, if I had a son, right, that was going to be a recruit
to go play,
right, to go play, I want him to play for Pitino.
Fair enough. Yeah, Timmy asked me the question, and I said I got to ask somebody who doesn't have Big East bias, because Timmy right away was like, "Oh, Pitino." I'm like, I was like, this would be a sweet question to ask somebody who isn't completely biased like you, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right." I was like, "Oh, I'll ask James on the pod." But looking ahead to the Sweet 16, you said Duke St. John's is the matchup that you're
what about
most
you?
anticipating? I don't know. I mean, I got the UConn jersey on. Another win for the Huskies. Don't let them get hot. We might have to call Timmy. I don't know. I'm really looking at that Houston, Illinois game. I think that is a fantastic matchup. Illinois, obviously one of the premier offenses in the country. Great size down low. Obviously they got Wagler, one of the best players in the country. And then you have Houston, who, whenever somebody runs into them, they can't handle it. Just Houston starts just smothering teams. And I don't know. You can always count on Houston. Like the first 2 rounds, they're going to dominate because their effort and just relentlessness, it suffocates teams. So,
yep. What was my soundbite? I said Houston's built for March. They're just not built for April.
Yeah,
As soon as they get in that
I
NFL
agree.
stadium, they forget it.
I feel like because if you get it, they play these teams that want to play with a lot more pace, and then when you get off their game plan, a lot of teams can't adapt and overcome that versus Houston. Illinois might be able to. I'm still rocking with Houston. I think I had Houston coming out the region. I think we both did. So I'm still rocking with Houston, but I'm super excited with that game, and I'm just super excited for another, big time coaching matchup between Hurley and Izzo. I think, we just got one between Hurley and Cronin. Now we're getting Hurley and Izzo. Hurley has said that like Izzo is kind of his mentor and everything.
I saw that, yeah.
And his idol. I'm super excited for that because, a lot of people said, oh, UConn was going to get upset by Michigan State. I kind of want to give Timmy a quick call just to kind of see his thoughts, how he's feeling.
You know what? I also
see the answers.
Just speaking about March, man, like it's just so amazing watching this basketball. One of my good friends texted me yesterday. He's saying, like, the tournament. He said, "quote The tournament really just reminds you how terrible the NBA is," and I honestly got to agree. Like this week of basketball was just so refreshing to watch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just to watch these guys.
They care about each possession.
Just give their heart out every possession. Like, it's.
Yeah, go home. You said it. They broke the decibel level in
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tim, you're live on the Hillside Club. How you doing?
All right, how's it going?
Good. I got 3 questions for you. 1, how are we feeling about UConn heading into the Sweet 16 versus Michigan State? 2, does Solo Ball still deserve to be a starter? And 3, did you have any more of the skillet cookie when I left last night?
1, I feel really good. Michigan State, no team makes me nervous like St. John's does in the entire tournament. I know it was just a scrimmage the beginning of the year, but I got to take that as Hurley has seen Michigan already because we beat them in a scrimmage at, I think, Mohegan. Then number 2, Solo Ball should not see the floor. Maybe in an emergency situation. He looked NBA ready last year, shooting wise, but I think last year was the anomaly because his freshman year. It's more in line with this. And I might have had a small bite of the skillet cookie.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew it. You went to go put it away, and then you said, hey, let me go in for a little bit more.
I went to put it away and said, you know what, it looks pretty good. I might as well have a little small one. Reward myself for the big win. That's it.
All right, yeah. I mean, I said that was probably my second most anticipated matchup of the weekend. Really looking forward to the coaching matchup. But yeah, I don't know. UConn, they're letting Mullins get hot. That could be a problem. But Solo, I think he belongs on the bench for now.
I think if Mullins can do what he did the second half last night, and he's out of his head, and locked in, then there's really. And if Stewart comes back, and Ross keeps doing what he does without getting into foul trouble, I don't really see a need for Solo at this point.
Do you? I don't know. Do you think there's a problem with UConn's whistle compared to other teams in the region like Duke?
Yeah, I mean Duke gets so many foul shots. Now I don't know. Sometimes I think we don't drive the lane to draw fouls enough, maybe. But Terrace gets mugged.
Oh my gosh, mugged.
Big guys don't get the whistle a lot of the times because if they're bigger than everyone, the ref does something psychologically to them. I swear, unless you're Zach Edey, he got every whistle. So you know what? Maybe it is a UConn thing, and I think it's they need to look into that because the disparity at some point becomes it has to be on purpose. Kind of like these 9:45 start times. They must be doing it something.
That I would agree with as well. It's kind of ridiculous. Or maybe they just know that they got fans like you with high blood pressure that they want to aggravate.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think I speak for the rest of the UConn fans that it's very hard to go to bed after these games because of the war they put you through at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no doubt. All right, we'll see what they got in store for us Friday. Tim, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hopping on the Hillside Club.
Thank you for the call.
Bye. Yeah, no, I mean, like he said it. I mean, that's a whole other thing. The start times during this tournament have been the round of 32 and now even the Sweet 16. I just don't get why some of them are so late. I don't
think if you're playing on the East Coast that you should tip anytime after 8 p.m. Like just for like decency. Like
I could see 9, like even 9:15, but like they
man.
approximate 9:45. But then with the games before them going longer, you're not tipping till like 10:15. Like UConn finished a game. Their first game 12:45 at night on the East Coast. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like I get it, it's a first round game, but like never mind the fans. How about the players themselves having to stay up that late playing a game? I don't know. I just think
lucky they get 4 days now. So, but
a lot of time.
Just terrible.
Any you think we see a couple big upsets this Sweet 16 or no?
Mm-mm.
Well, hold on. I'll ask you another question. Would you even, based off, betting wise and favorites, it's going to be considered an upset, but would you consider Texas beating Purdue an upset?
No.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, when
no.
Purdue loses, it's not an upset anymore. I mean, that one clip that went viral when the dude said it from Barstool just holds true to this day. When Purdue loses, no one really bats an eye. I think Texas can beat them. They got some serious momentum.
No, yeah, they look good. And I mean, Purdue didn't wow me, but I don't know, man. I mean,
they handle their business.
Yeah, they handled their business.
Although Braden Smith not playing too hot.
They played Queens, not a test. Miami. I didn't get to watch a lot of that game.
I watched the whole thing.
Was it a test for them, or was it just like
no? It was back and forth, and then they started to extend, but it wasn't because of. I mean, they're why am I forgetting the guy's name? Not Smith, but other players had to get involved. Smith looked a little bit off. If he has another off game, I don't know if they're able to escape another round like that. But
and Texas is physical. Like
they're physical.
Yeah.
They got some serious momentum, and then if St. John's beats Duke, that's an upset. No, I think there's definitely room for up. You don't think? I think Arkansas can beat Arizona.
Yeah,
if they get to like a high scoring match.
Well, I think that's the thing. I don't know if you can call a lot of these upsets anymore. These 16 teams,
yes.
These 16 teams are all very close in I guess talent.
Mm-hmm.
Just their momentum. You win 2 games, you get to the Sweet 16. I feel like anything can happen now, and that's kind of what we wanted, right? So I mean, Iowa, Nebraska. It's a Big Ten matchup. It's a good one. Michigan State, UConn, good one. Duke, St. John's. Good one. Illinois, Houston, you talked about it. Another one that can go, I feel like, either way, but I feel like you got to give Houston the upper hand. So maybe that's an upset. Iowa State, Tennessee, another good one. That, like, I don't even, like, you don't know.
To me, the biggest upset would be Bama beating Michigan. I'd honestly, that would probably shock me the most. I know they can shoot lights out. They look great versus Texas Tech, but I just feel like that style always ends up hurting them at some point because they just play with so much pace. I don't know. I have a feeling if he wasn't there for the first 2, there's no way he's coming back, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to speculate on all that. But no, I can't wait for the Sweet 16. These next 3 days suck without basketball again.
Yeah, I got to go back to watching the NBA.
I didn't even want to bring up the NBA this episode, but unfortunately, there has been some news in the NBA like that I guess is like worth talking about. The Lakers are scorching hot.
The Lakers.
9 straight. I believe they're 3rd in the West right now. Luka Doncic, I made a video on it. I think he's the MVP, which I know ruffles a lot of feathers. I think he is. He is on an absolute tear right now. And I think he's the MVP without playing a lick of defense, which I think is absolutely insane. No, you're going to say it's disrespectful to the award. I feel like it's what you're about to say. But to me, it's like, what is the award? MVP is most valuable player. It can't be Shea. I'm sorry. Like, as good as he is, the Thunder are still a good team without him. I think if you take Luka off the Lakers, I don't think they're sniffing the 7 seed in the West right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that.
Like, they have players like Reeves, like when those guys are out, like Reeves, he'll ball out and he'll get his buckets. But like when it comes to actually winning games, I think Luka, I'm sorry, the run he's been on has just been out of this world.
I think he's clutch player of the year. I can't give him the MVP. Again, like I said, I feel like it's disrespectful to the award because there's 2 sides to basketball. And the defense, honestly, means more than the offensive side when it comes to winning, right? And when it comes to winning meaningful games.
33, 60, 40, 36, 30, 51, 31, 35, 44.
I don't know. I can't do it, man. I really like Luka is amazing.
He's averaging 33,
great.
basically 8 and 8. I think let me tell you this right now. If Shea was putting up these numbers,
Yeah.
People are, I mean, it would be, they would just say, hand it to him already. The tear that Luka's been on right now.
Yeah. I mean, but Shea's stats are really
no, they are, but I don't know. I think again, I'm thinking like most valuable to the team, the run that the Lakers have gone on and the correlation between how Luka has kind of like stepped his game up another notch recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not crazy to say that Luka.
I could even argue Wembanyama. Like,
yeah, you could always argue.
Dude
Wemby.
averages,
no doubt.
He averages 3 blocks, 11 boards, and like he does it with ease. And he's just young. Give it another year or two. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, and then also NBA news: KD passed MJ all-time scoring. Congratulations, KD.
Big moment.
I don't know what's going on with the Rockets right now. It's like they're, I don't know, like they're
not great.
They're not great, but like I feel like we always
are great, not elite. One of the two, whatever way you want to put it.
It's like whenever a KD-led team loses, it's always you blame who's around, like, you know, who's on the team. Like, they're not winning. The Rockets were second in the West last year before this trade, right? So
you can't beat a double team. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, he got double late in the game. He literally just can't beat a double team. And then I also saw shout out to KD for, you know, passing Michael Jordan. Anytime you pass Michael Jordan, that's obviously historic.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan did it, and I feel like people got to realize that the point total for Jordan is like every other guy that's passed him has played, I think, at least like 3 more seasons than Jordan, if you look at it. And then I also saw someone tweet about how 10 years from now, Jordan might not even be like top 10 on the scoring list.
Yeah.
And like, so if you look at stats alone, it's never going to tell the story. But hey, I don't know. Shout out to KD. One last thing about the Luka thing, just because I caught my eye, because he's averaging 33. It's pretty crazy to think that he's averaging 33 in this era, and then Kobe averaged 35 in a season while being first team all defense. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I don't get the Kobe hate. Like, there's really
that's the dead ball era.
Dead ball era,
Come
less
on.
scoring. Like,
it's so
this is what I mean. I don't get it, but
yeah.
And then the Knicks, you know, just checking in on them. They're still playing the most mid basketball I think I've ever watched.
Yeah.
No reason for these games to be as close as they are.
So they took care of business yesterday, but it was the Wizards. First of all, shout out Tyler Kolek. The dude had a game in the G League in Westchester at 3:00 yesterday, put up 42 points, and then proceeded to come in the fourth quarter last night at the Garden in a 5-minute stretch, scored 11 points. That is a hell of a night for him.
I'm glad they got to play him more.
Yeah,
I don't know why they stopped. Same with Jordan Clarkson. They're starting to play Clarkson a little bit more, and the scoring's come back. I don't know why they ever stopped. Those two are arguably the reasons they won the NBA Cup earlier in the season. They were the spark that they needed, and then they just stopped playing them, which, I don't know, maybe this is all part of Mike Brown's master plan to like see who needed to do what. And I don't know. I'm just making up excuses, but
I don't know. They
I'm glad.
Kind of a little shaky.
Almost
stretch.
lost to the Nets though, which is disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they've won 15 straight versus the Nets, which is it's kind of funny because that lead or that streak started when Nick Claxton said years ago when he had KD and Kyrie on the teams, like, my whole career we've never lost to the Nets, and then they've now proceeded to lose 15 straight, or they've never lost to the Knicks.
That's crazy.
So a little shaky stretch. They're starting to, like, I guess it's a 6-game win streak. But
Did you happen to catch this because KD passed Jordan? Bleacher Report ranked the top 15 purest scorers in NBA history. Did you happen to catch that?
No, I did not. I can only imagine what it looks like.
So I guess they did it based off like efficiency and like true shooting percentage and points per game. So it was Curry 1, KD 2, Jordan 3, Embiid, LeBron, Shea, George Gervin. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is it Gervin? I'm assuming Gervin. Yeah. Luka, Jokic. Kobe was at 10. Giannis, Kyrie, Shaq, D-Mitch, and Karl Malone at 15. So I don't know. Again, here we go with the true shooting and the advanced statistics. Kobe Bryant is not the 10th pure scorer. He's got to be in the top 5. Like, I'm sorry, Joel Embiid, who's missed 50% of his career games, which people say, oh, that doesn't have to do with your pure scoring ability. No. Get him out the top 5, man. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even know who George Gervin is. Maybe I'm just a casual. Do you know who that is?
Yeah. You play 2K. I mean, you know who George.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play. I didn't play as much 2K. I think
everybody know.
Side note: I think 2K is one of the worst video games ever created.
The worst.
So
I will never play
that's
a game
just me
ever again
personally.
in my
But
life.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just casual. But how is Kobe not higher on the list? So more Kobe propaganda coming from the Hillside Club. But I don't care. I mean, it has to be. He has more 40-point games than everybody on the list except Jordan. He's got more 50-point games than anybody on the list except Jordan. He has more 60-point games than everybody on the list. And oh yeah, he went for 81 once, 82, whatever it was. I don't even know. Bam's got me all screwed up with that. Bleacher Report, figure out your list. They're a joke. Maybe they're all just clickbait. It's working. The blood pressure's going up right now as we speak, but I don't know, man.
It's getting red.
These lists that they come out with are so bad. Like Joel Embiid, you got Joel Embiid at 4 all-time purest score.
I think that's disrespectful.
Purest scorer. Like this is what I hate with all these like analytics
known
and like
foul
true
baiter,
shooting and like, come on.
Known foul baiter.
Kyrie should be above him. That's a pure bucket getter.
Yeah, that's one of those clickbait lists that like I'm not even going to entertain it. I really am not, because like what are we talking about? Joel. Honestly, let's move on from that, because that's one of those things that they want all those comments. They want people to see, look, another way to disrespect Kobe. It's like, what is going on? Yeah. What is going on in the sports world now that we just got to disrespect our greats just because everyone wants to have a hot take?
Yeah, well,
this is why there's no hot takes, just real ones here. This is why, because stuff like this.
I'll keep it real. I'll keep it going. We got this Clubhouse call out segment. So our boy Hanch on our last video, he commented, Bron is the GOAT. And speaking of the NBA, because, Lakers, 9-game win streak. I'm tired. I can't. I have to address it. He's not the GOAT. I'm sorry, LeBron is not the GOAT. And I know everybody is all over LeBron this season. Now he's 41 and he's doing this and all these big time dunks. I'm sorry that a guy that has only played 182 season and our 182 game season, now is 41, and he still has all his, big time dunks. I'm sorry that doesn't impress me. Actually, I'm not sorry that it just doesn't impress me. I'd say 85% of LeBron like highlights and clips I've seen this year have just been wide open fast break dunks or him cherry picking the defense. That's what it's been. I'm sorry that doesn't impress me, because I still agree that LeBron is the second best player to ever touch a basketball. But you're already held to a higher standard. So I don't care that at 41, when you've taken plenty of games off that in the past guys played through, modern day medicine, yeah, it means something. Okay, he's 41. All these highlights are just him cherry picking. He has 182 game season, 180 game season. This stuff matters. The greats like MJ and Kobe, they were playing 80 game seasons left and right. So I'm sorry I'm not impressed that he can still slam dunk a basketball at 41 years old. You're telling me that's why I got to consider this guy the GOAT? Because at 41 he can still dunk? That's why? And then every now and then he goes off in a game? Get the hell out of here, man. That's what I mean. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. When you get to the biggest stage in your sport and you lose 6 times, and there's another guy during your era and your reign as the best player in basketball has 4 rings of his own and separate eras of his own career, I'm sorry, you're just not the GOAT to me. And I'm sorry that I'm not impressed with the fast break dunks and the cherry picking, where every time there's a rebound, oh, where's LeBron? Oh, he's already 20 yards down the court just waiting for the outlet pass. I'm tired of this. Really am.
And there goes Rob's rant number 4.
With that said, though, obviously, I respect LeBron as a human. I don't want people to get it twisted that like I just like hate him as a person. No, of course not. But like just on the court, I'm sorry that like I just don't understand all the glaze for like, oh, LeBron throws it down. He's turning back the clock. Guys, you know how many games the guy has just sat out in his career? You could say, oh, it's not sitting out. No, the load management stuff is real. I mean, early in the season, I think LeBron was talking about how he's hesitant to play back-to-backs now because he's older. So, like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, if a guy still is willing to go out there on the court, I'm expecting him to play the best he can. And if LeBron, who's what, 6'8", yeah, I'm still expecting him to dunk a basketball. Sorry, guys. It doesn't impress me.
Yeah, I can already
you're wrong. He's not the GOAT.
I can already hear the reaction that we're gonna get from this. But what people they want to, you talk about he's what, 42,
literally as we're recording this, I'm looking at a fast break dunk. Look at him screaming as he does it. Like, come on.
That was a tough moment though. I'm gonna give it to him. See, the thing is, everyone's gonna you say that, and then people are gonna say, "What about Jordan's older years? What about his Wizards years?" And that's where they kind of get you stumped. I'm not picking one over the other when it
Don't
comes.
get me stumped. I'm sorry that at 41 years old, one guy is still trying to prove that he's better than the other guy. Meanwhile, the other guy was 6-0 in the finals and had a complete blown out knee when he was on the Wizards. People forget that before he blew out his knee on the Wizards, he was still giving out buckets and pretty good defense. But no, we won't ever bring that up. Not to mention the modern medicine that these guys have now and the way they travel better and sleep better and everything else. You don't think if Michael Jordan could have spent millions of dollars on his body a year, he wouldn't? He was the ultimate winner. He would have done whatever it takes to win. Same with Kobe. So again, listen, LeBron's
agree.
doing what he needs to do to preserve himself and play at a high level. But all I'm getting is that, like, every time I just see one of these dunks like pop up, it's like, yeah, LeBron can still dunk, guys. Like, is that really what we're glazing him for? If he goes and wins another ring, then yeah, go ahead and glaze him. Although they're not doing that because there's no way they win a ring this year. So,
no, I agree. I agree with some of the points you made. The thing is, when you talk about like, oh, you wish he'd be able to spend money on his body and stuff like that. Well, we don't know what would have happened with Jordan. Like, we can't speak on hypotheticals, and that's why I don't like to get into this conversation, because it's impossible to really, I guess, compare generations or eras, right? Because there would be no LeBron without Jordan, right? Like, there would be no Kobe without Jordan. There would be no Jordan without Wilt. Like, you got to respect the people that come before you, because they built the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Like, they built the way the game. Like, you look at the way the game is called today, and I mean, dudes travel every other possession. It's called differently. They can carry the ball any way they want. Just like, there's a lot of different things that you take away from, each players in their respective era when you compare, and that's why I don't like to get into it. Even like with the defense, like, you look at the way they defend today, which is like, people like to say it was tougher back then, which I disagree with. Yeah, you might have seen more tough, defense around the rim, but the complexity, the defense in the NBA today is so complex that, like, people don't even understand, like, all the switching they do, all the rotating. Like, they will blitz a guy 50 feet, 40 feet away from the rim, like a guy like Luka, a guy like Brunson, and then now the rest of the team has to rotate around, and then a guy's opening the corner for a three. And there's stuff like that you don't see in 90s, 80s basketball, 70s basketball. But like, I can't take that away from them. Like, the 3-point line was added to the game, 10 years before Jordan got to the league? So, like, stuff like that, like, that the game has to evolve around that.
He's turning back the clock.
So yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. But now
also,
we're gonna
teams just one last note about the NBA. Teams switch way too much. Like, unnecessary switching, I think, is like killing.
But that's the thing; they have to. Sometimes.
No, I don't think they do. I think teams switch way too much, and it leads to like trouble elsewhere on the court. Like, I think sometimes where it's just like the easy thing now is to just switch. Because of, like,
but that's the thing, when a screen is set so high up, because a lot of these screens are set 40 feet from the rim.
I still think they switch too much.
A guy gets ahead of speed downhill off a screen because a big now has to hedge and a guard has to swipe through the screen. Now he has a little bit of space. These guys will pull the ball. They will pull the ball from 40 feet out.
No, I agree.
So that's the thing.
I just
you
think sometimes
switch.
It feels a little unnecessary.
No, I get
at
it.
times.
It's like when you go back and you watch a college game, where sometimes you don't have to give. You can give a guy a little bit of space because they'll be a little more hesitant. In NBA, they'll let it go. So I get that. But
fair enough.
We're gonna get into my favorite segment of the week. I'm sure it's Rob's too. But our About It of the week, Rob. Let's hear who your About It of the week is.
Yeah, let's definitely get off the NBA. Go back to college hoops. Bill Raftery, just unbelievable job announcing this weekend. Guy's 82 years old. Hasn't lost a beat as a broadcaster, which is something that, you can't really say for a lot of people at that age when they're in the broadcast booth. I feel like you always kind of see that, the steady decline and, their greatness of, the past is kind of what you're holding on to and your respect for them. That's not the case with Bill Raftery. I mean, he is still in the booth. He is so sharp. The points he makes are always great. And then he obviously always brings the energy. He obviously has that famous Onions call. He had a great call on the Illinois dunk the other night. I'm forgetting it already, but something about take him to Balkans, I think, something like that, about because it was the European player in the dunk. But I think he's done a great job. So he's my specific about it of the week. And then just a quick shout out to all the announcers throughout March Madness. I have felt that every crew has done an unbelievable job, play-by-play, color, sideline reporting. I think all the commentators have just done a fantastic job of, letting moments happen while also having their own moments on the call. So shout out to all the announcers and specifically Bill Raftery. James, you're about it of the week.
Yeah. Staying with college basketball, AJ DeBonsta. Mm-hmm. That is my about it of the week. I mean, the kid looks like a pro already. And, his scoring package is ridiculous. He gets to his spot no matter what. He's not just a bucket, but he looks composed in big moments. And I think that's the number one thing you look for in a player coming out the draft, right? Mm-hmm. Like BYU, yes, they didn't maximize on the moment, but AJ absolutely looked like a star. And he averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists this season. That's pro stuff. And then not only to begin with, who he is as a player, but who he is off the court. Like you go look at his social media and you follow along with his journey. I mean, he seems like a great kid, right? Like he seems like somebody, he's really personable when the cameras are on, and that's the type of stuff that you want to draft, right? A guy that you can not only put on the court as an NBA franchise, but a guy that your fan base and your city can get behind because of who they are, right? And I think that's the most important thing for him, man. In his tournament debut, he goes for 35 and 10. I mean, like, he had more points than the rest of the BYU team for a good chunk of that game. And, it just speaks levels to, like, who he is as a player, right? So, AJ DeBonsta, you are my about it of the week. And shout out, I know he's also half Jamaican too, so shout out to him. Real bad man. And now we're going to move on to our not about it of the week. Rob, let's hear it.
Yeah, so my not about of the week is really just all West Coast basketball teams in college. St. Mary's and Gonzaga specifically. Santa Clara, honestly, shout out to them for should have won the game. I mean, a lot of stuff didn't go their way at the end of that game. But St. Mary's and Gonzaga, I'm done with them. I am officially out on them. I am going to effectively ban myself from ever picking them in the March Madness ever again, unless, like, there are years Gonzaga is a 1 seed. Even this year, winning that first game. Okay, after that, we're done. Banning them. I'm tired of it. I don't know how they reel me in every year, especially St. Mary's. Like Gonzaga, I didn't have them going far. I had them winning 1 game and losing, so I'll take, the dub on that. But St. Mary's, I thought they could beat Texas A&M. I don't know where their hype comes from. I really don't. I guess it's that weak conference that they play in, but
it's a delusion.
I mean, I don't know. Every time you see them on the court, it's like, this is the worst team I've ever watched in basketball. I don't know. Like, they look outsized, outmatched, out athleticism, out everything. And all you hear about is how they're going to outshoot a team. And that's the reason they're going to win and go on a run. And then they're in the tournament, and it's like, no, this is not the case. This team stinks. So, again, I'm going to ban myself from ever picking them again in March Madness. I'm not doing it again. See, I refuse.
I'll tell you where your bias comes from. The WCC is another one of those ESPN conferences. So, ESPN will love to just throw out that topic. They love it. They love to just, like, I was so asleep on Gonzaga all year. I think I watched 1 game of theirs. Their
KenPom is through the roof. They're one of the highest rated KenPom. And again, people are going to say, oh, they didn't have Huff. Enough about Huff, dude. Enough about Huff. Like, we get it. He wasn't there. But a team rated that high, like, they didn't look impressive versus Kennesaw State.
Not one bit.
It felt like they could have lost that game. Versus Texas, they didn't look impressive. Like, I get they didn't have their best player, but if they're ranked that high in KenPom, they look so dysfunctional as a team. Like, I don't know. I'm, again, done with them. But shout out Santa Clara because they should have beaten Kentucky.
Yeah, that's tough because I think we both picked Santa Clara back here.
Yeah, we did. And then we both had Gonzaga only winning 1 game, I believe. Yeah, we had them losing to BYU. But
where's St. Mary's?
St. Mary's bottom left for Texas A&M. And we both picked them.
Disgusting. Yeah, not about it. My not about it of the week is the Evo Next basketball. I'm not about this ball whatsoever. It feels like every big shot is coming off the rim. I mean, the ball looks like it's overinflated. Everything is long. Everything is clanking. Even layups, like they're hitting the rim, and guys are missing easy looks. It feels like, guys don't trust their touch in the tournament right now, right? Like I'm seeing rebounds go all the way to the 3-point line. And it's not talked about enough, in my opinion. Through the first 2 rounds, team field goal percentage has been around 43 and 44%, which is lower than the typical regular season shooting. But yes, I understand it could also be the tournament, but these are the best teams, right? These are the best teams. It's like kind of what we expect. I mean, 3-point shooting has also dipped. So about 33% or lower. And then several top teams in tight games shot under 40% from the field, including in Sweet 16 clinching games. Why is nobody talking about the Evo Next ball in mainstream sports media? I feel like the only places we see it is online or on Twitter, on TikTok, whatever, or X, whatever it is. Why is nobody talking about this ball? I mean, I watched Xavier Lee dribble down the court late in that game, and the ball almost bounced to his shoulder, right? Like, that missed shot was, I believe it was Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah,
that rim
halfway down the rim.
The amount of rim outs that I've seen in the tournament this year and last year have been ridiculous. I mean, I'm watching, I think it was Utah State was warming up. I saw a video on X, and the guys are trying to get used to the ball. One of the coaches is dribbling the ball, and he just a simple pound, and it's going about 12 feet in the air. I know I see it. I know others see it because it's being talked about online. But does the committee see it, and does the NCAA see it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the announcers are not told to talk about it because, like, there's no way that, like, these, for professional announcers who've been watching basketball their whole life and been covering so many tournaments don't notice, the difference. Like you said, like all the putbacks that are being missed.
Yeah.
Like that does not happen in the regular season. Like it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this ball is overinflated in different arenas. And I saw someone bring it up on Twitter, basically saying how the rule about the ball inflation is that it just there's a range between 7.5 and 8.5 PSI. And then the test they do is a bounce test. They drop it from 6 feet and they're looking for a 49 to 54 inch rebound on the bounce, which is a 5-inch gap in PSI is obviously, a very big thing. So, and then I guess the same person on Twitter that brought that up had mentioned that the past Final Four games, like the under is 6-0 and the ball has been super bouncy. Like, again, it doesn't take a genius to figure out. You just watch it. You see the ball just go flying off the rim, or these guys are going up with layups and the ball is just right off. And it's, I don't know. That's a great point. I think like some people are tired of hearing about it online. Like, oh, enough about the ball. It's
That's a real thing.
It's taking away from good hoops. Like Darren Pearson, like you brought up the Vandy shot. Like that one probably goes in if it's, well-inflated ball. Darren Peterson had a 3 yesterday late in that game where it was like that thing went in and out, and it was like, how does that not drop? And like I was saying to my dad, like these guys are elite level basketball players. Those guys have the best touch in the world. When they're going up for layups, they're putting it up so that even if they know like it's not in the perfect spot, the touch they're putting it up with, it's going to end up falling. Like it's going to hit the rim and then drop. They're not dropping anymore in these tournaments. So
no.
I don't know. It's a very interesting issue. I'm not sure how like it's been going on for the past like 2 years.
Yeah, I think they started using it the last like 3 years. I remember when they first brought it, and I was like, why are we using
the first year was crazy seeing it happen.
You could
live,
you just see it. Like they're using this bright orange ball, and I'm like, what's going on? But then you start to watch the game, and then even when the ball is bouncing on the floor, like I don't know. The NCAA switches to this ball for the tournament, and imagine like the NBA switching the ball like for the playoffs. That's a little crazy, but I understand every team has a different company, so that's different. And but
just inflate it the same,
or get rid of the ball. But it's a clear problem, and players have spoke about it. I mean, it's not an excuse because it actually affects touch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I notice it. I mean, I feel like anybody who's played basketball at a high level has noticed it. Like, come on, like, please, next year? Can we figure it out, or can we figure it out for the Final Four? I mean, I know they won't go away from it, but it looks terrible to me, and I hate to watch it.
Yeah, no doubt, completely agree. I know, we're a pretty long episode here. Just one last thing that caught my eye over the weekend was the Fanatics flag football thing. I think during halftime of one of the games on Saturday, I had just flipped the channel to just, watch a couple plays. A few takeaways I had. like the whole like lead up and even in the game, the Logan Paul fake drama is so like exhausting to watch.
Goodness.
I don't know how he does it in person. Like I don't know how he keeps doing this stuff where like everything he does, he's got to like act fake about it and promote it. Like honestly, shout out to him to be able to do that because it looks it feels draining when you're watching it. Like the whole like him and Brady drama. Like, I don't know, maybe Brady like actually doesn't, I'm sure Brady doesn't believe that the guy's an athlete. Like that I understand. But like every little thing, like it feels disgusting. Tom Brady, speaking of him, he still got it. The one play I watched when I flipped the channel was Tom Brady sidestepping through a dart to the corner of the end zone. He still, I think, could play in the NFL. I really believe Tom Brady could still do it.
No, yeah. I mean, back to what you said about Logan Paul. I mean, growing up, you'd watch him, you'd watch the Paul brothers, you see their clips. Like, yeah, that stuff is awesome. Like, I guess I don't know what his target audience is now, but I just it's just not authentic to me. So just watching it, it just feels like, oh my goodness, like it's just a little corny for me. I don't know, but I will say, it's kind of crazy that active NFL players signed up to play this. Like, I don't care how fun it looks. If I'm a Bengals fan, I don't want to see Joe Burrow out there. And especially like playing the way he was, right? Like he was actually going hard. Like, and these are unnecessary football reps.
Yeah, he got like dragged down. Even a flag game, he got like dragged down into hands. I'd be sick as a Bengals fan. The amount of injuries that guy has had, like knowing he's missed so much time and you've missed the playoffs because of it, knowing that he's out there playing flag and it's kind of like the saying like, oh, well, they're doing stuff in the offseason workouts, running routes, like OTAs, all that stuff. But like, that's for your team. Like, that's for the team that you're paid to play for. Like, this is just like a promotional event for like, I guess maybe to get like everybody ready for like flag being in the Olympics. But like those flag players, like they're built completely different.
So
like,
different.
They're built for like, agility. Whereas like a lot of these NFL guys, like they're built for contact and like, like you said, I cannot believe that active players, obviously you need the active players, the names to like boost up the event. But like, you're chasing, greatness in your own sport and you want to win with your team. I couldn't even imagine how like the money they must have been paid to do this. That's what I just thought. Like Saquon, Devontae Smith, like all those guys, like, I don't know, like the thought of like, what if somebody got injured during that?
Yeah, I saw someone on the Pat McAfee show called it a glorified white party on a football field.
Oh my gosh,
which is hilarious. But I mean, that's essentially what it was. It's really cool to see, I guess, flag football start to grow.
Gronk got hurt.
Yeah. Like an athlete is an athlete, but like football is just if there's something different about football, having to go through all the conditioning and getting hit all the times they do. I mean, George Kittle spoke about it a few years ago. He feels like he gets in a car accident every time he plays on Sunday. It's just, there's levels, right? Like football is the most physical sport I think there is in the world. So kudos to the NFL players going out there. But I don't know, man, a lot of like odd falls, cuts that are happening, collisions, like injuries can happen out there. So I don't know what type of money they were giving out to these players, but hey, go make your bread.
Yeah, it's a little just an interesting thing over.
Hey, can we get Odell though on the New York Giants, please? Like, please.
Oh my god!
I need to see it.
Come on,
my inner child. I need to see it. Rob,
you
I
just
need
talked
to see
about
it.
how the NFL is different, and now you're talking about a guy who hasn't played in a couple years.
I know.
NFL shape is way
different.
Stop. The ball was smaller. He's not doing that in a game.
Stop.
Like at this age, I'm not saying, of course, he's done it in the past. We all know the Odell catch, but like,
I feel like there's guys.
NFL shape is different.
I
know that.
I feel like there are guys in the NFL that are not
as good,
better than Odell, even with 2 torn ACLs. I'm sorry.
No, that you might be right about. Maybe a team could probably give him a shot.
There's space. We can get him a veterans minimum. Come on, let's get it done. Let him retire a Giant, please. But yeah, man. I mean.
Anything else you want to tell the pod today or no?
What are we talking about, man? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a no. That's all good though.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Anyways,
he's just excited for the Sweet 16, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited for college basketball and college basketball only. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. This is like the best few weeks of sports. We got the Masters coming up soon too. Like this is. It doesn't get any better than spring sports, right? Sometimes. So thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out our producer back there, Oscar Navarro, turned 23 over the weekend or last week. So, yeah, man, I'm James Martin III.
I'm Rob Cardini.
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. See you guys next week.
Thank you guys.